Welcome to the Financial Planners Southeast Asia podcast, a show dedicated to driving the positive evolution of financial advice, specifically within Southeast Asia. To join a global community of financial advisors sharing and learning with one another to drive the positive evolution of financial advice, head to xyadvisor.com. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Financial Planners Southeast Asia podcast. Gwen here, and today I am with Francis Canizares. Did I pronounce that right, Franz?
Yes, that's correct.
Wonderful. So Francis is a registered financial consultant and a full-time trader in the Philippine stock and equity market for over 6 years. And he's primarily providing financial planning to Filipinos and licensed professional as well as business owners. He is also one of the co-founders of Alpha Edge Research, a startup focused on providing market education as well as research on the financial markets to the average Filipinos. He is very passionate about promoting comprehensive financial planning in the Philippines, and he aims to earn the certified financial technician. So, welcome to the show, Francis. It's so nice to finally have you on the show.
Hi,
How's
Gwen.
it going?
Hi, Gwen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
everyone who are listening to XY podcast.
I gave a really in-depth introduction for you, but I want our listeners to get to know you more and share your story. So, can you tell us first, how did you get into financial advice?
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to
Yeah, sure.
share my financial advocacy on towards the financial advice. So first, getting to know myself. I've been a self-taught trader for the past 6 years, and with that, I started a passion or commitment to learn more in the financial markets. Trading is fun, but there's
Wow.
something more about it. So, which led me to what's the financial advice industry. With that, last, I think 2018, 2017, I found a group of traders here in Cebu, Philippines.
Right.
And one of them is a registered financial consultant. For those who doesn't know the registered financial consultant, we'll provide the link below.
Yeah.
Yep. He introduced me the financial advice industry. With that, he shared one of the books regarding financial planning. Then I read those books, then researched from different websites pertaining to financial advice and other articles. And I got more interested because you provide that financial plan it's like a building routine or a goal to achieve those long-term achievements or, let's say, major purchases.
Yes, like cars and houses.
Yeah, true.
For the family. Yeah.
And with that, I got more interested to provide financial services, especially to the Filipino people, as financial planning is not well known yet.
Yes.
And in our financial industry. So, yep, that's how I realized that how important financial planning is. And hopefully, I could provide more solutions or tailor-fit solutions to the Filipino people.
Right. So that's why you became a registered financial consultant. But before that, you are still a full-time trader, and you're still doing that right now alongside becoming a financial consultant, right?
Yep, that's correct. I'm still a trader and also practicing as registered financial consultant. As part of the registered financial consultants compliance, we will need to have a continuing education. That's why we need to keep updated in the industry and also in the financial markets.
All right, and that's that's so true, right? Because I find that financial planning is like being in the information technology profession, where you have to keep up to date with
Yep.
the whatever's the latest information out there, because it's important for not only for your business to stay afloat and for you to be the best at what you are, but it also greatly helps your clients in how you help them make the financial decisions that they do. Which gives me the opportunity to ask, what is a certified financial technician and why are you aiming to earn this title?
Yeah, for this certified financial technician, that would be based from the US. So
Mm,
it's more specifically on the technical analysis and the financial markets, more like there's involved in the price and volumes and also the indicators which would forecast or predict the price. We don't say usually it's predict. We study the price history and we're identifying which are the supports or resistances prices where there would be heavy buys or heavy sells. And
right.
it would also create more credibility to yourself and more exposure to different financial professionals from different continents like Europe and the US. And hopefully there will be more many certified financial technician in Southeast Asia.
All right. Yes. And well, maybe I'd leave that question in another time, but I would really like to talk more about how to get that kind of certification. But for now, our main topic is actually about how financial advocates can demystify misconceptions about stock investing. So, my question to that is, what are the most common misconceptions that you hear a lot about stock investing?
Yeah, okay. We may have different misconceptions from what we have heard. For me, based from my background and other factors, I have narrowed down to three.
Mm,
So just to make it simple, the first one is some people say that investing is for rich people only, but over time, especially this evolution of the information and the wealth management services, there have been competitive businesses which you can start your investing at a low cost or
mm,
low initial balance, or
mm.
you can start with a zero account. It depends on the broker
Yeah,
available in the market.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So, yep, that would be it's the best time to invest right now because we have many ways on where to invest or start an account.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. I remember that a lot of my friends actually started with this company that lets you invest in as low as 5,000
Yep,
pesos,
that's
right?
correct. Yeah.
But yeah, what's like the second misconception?
Some of it. Second, that would be they don't need the financial plan.
Mm,
Yeah, some would say, "Oh, you only live once. You just spend anything we want." But over time, as you grow older, you're looking for retirement funds. But yeah, some would say sad to say that you'll have small time to invest. So with that, stock investing is the integral part in the financial
mm,
plan, especially
mm,
for those risk profile whose appetite is willing to take higher risk with higher reward. But beside from stock investing, there's also some other financial instruments like bonds, which could talk with that another podcast.
yes, yes.
Third one, and some would say they don't need the emergency fund.
A lot of Filipinos do that. Why is that? And it's a common misconception, but I'd like to let's try to expand on that a bit. Like, why do you think a lot of people find it unnecessary to have an emergency fund? Is it because they actually don't know what an emergency fund is, and that's why they just go dive deep into stock investing without having set that aside?
Hmm.
Or is it really like they do know that this type of financial security exists, but they just chose to disregard it because they don't find that it's necessary.
It depends on the financial circumstances of that
Mm,
individual. It's because of they have tight financial budget, which they don't have any emergency fund. Some have enough cash surplus that they could fund the emergency fund, but
mm,
some they will just deem it as part of it because some would say that it will eat up by the inflation rate, or some would say that cash is just sitting up there. But
mm,
for me, emergency fund is that should be easily liquidated. So
mm.
in
Yes.
times of emergency, so for me, especially there's a situation when it comes to life and death.
Mm,
So sometimes you need that fund right away.
mm,
So you need to be easy access. But some of those they use the emergency funds for different purposes. Like
mm.
they need to purchase the, let's say, gadgets or electronics, which doesn't define the emergency fund.
Emergency fund. Oh, I'm guilty for that. So I remember we actually had a fund, an
Mm-hmm.
emergency fund before, me and my husband, but we weren't married at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But because our wedding was canceled because of COVID,
Yeah,
we
sorry.
decided to say that's okay. It turned out for the best. But at the time, we were very sad about it that we spent all of the money buying gadgets. so, so we knew it was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but we had the impulse because we were sad. So we were driven by our emotions. And that's why I can really understand why people sometimes deem their emergency funds, and when they need a gadget, they consider that as an emergency, when in fact that it's not. But yes, if these people talk to a financial planner before they make a purchase, they would be told that no, it's not.
Yes,
it's
because
it's
it
not
would
considered an
misalign the
emergency.
financial plan and the
Yes,
financial
yes,
goal. Yeah,
yes.
I appreciate that you're aware of your expenses, especially with that gadgets and your emotions. That's one of the values that the financial advisors provide, encouraging the client to focus that financial goal. Especially they have uh, what's it called different attitudes in regards on handling the funds, especially in
Yeah.
impulsive buying. So that's why it's important to have a financial planner, to have a collaborative approach on achieving your financial goals.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree 100%. And that's why it is a goal for us to be able to help Filipinos get access to a financial planner, even if initially they would think that they can't afford it, right? We have to demystify that as well. But for now, let's focus on stock investing. So, as a specialist, how do you tend to address these like three common misconceptions?
That would be the creating awareness and education to the Filipino people, but not also to other individuals who wants to engage in the financial markets. To add on also with that, some would say that stock investing is also is a scam, but
Hmm.
the stock market is heavily regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commissions and other
Hmm.
government agencies relating to the any stock investing. So
Right.
you could say that the investors are also protected from any scams or any mis or malpractices from other companies. That's why we as financial advisors also need to be aware of any scams
Mm-hmm.
around in the community or
Mm-hmm.
any updates on the financial markets, because once we know that, we are aware of that and we are updated, It creates a confidence between the client to achieve their financial goals.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, so we mentioned or we talked about like sources earlier before we started
Yep.
recording. Can you give us, friends, some of the resources that you would recommend every financial planner or even advisors should check out on a regular basis?
Yeah, sure. For the Philippine settings, we'll provide those links on the description. So first
Yeah.
one would be the if you're into Facebook, the Securities and Exchange Commissions have their official page where there are posts on what's on the updates or the advisories and notices. Then other one you could check directly to their website. We'll provide that link also.
Yeah.
For the Philippine stock market, there's also a specific website on that. We also add that. That's in the PSE Edge portal. That way, if if you want to verify those news, you better check that PSE Edge portal because if there's any reports, there will be a clarification of news reports. So it would give better information and clarity to the investors who are investing to that or who wants to invest to that particular stock.
Right. And any other sources that you'd like to share?
There's also some news media, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
affiliated with that. But you could go with the Business World Online. I usually follow that any news regarding the Philippine market. Also, they also tackle with the other Southeast Asian countries.
Nice. Right. And so that's very helpful, right? To be able to keep abreast on what's currently happening in the financial world. But we can't, as people in the financial advice industry, we would always receive clients or people that we know telling us that, hey, I saw this post in Facebook, for
Hmm.
example, or I saw this person referring this type of investment online, and like, how do we educate them in a way that they would not push back on how they can be more mindful of taking or of making sure that they pick and choose the type of information that they receive?
Uh, Based from my experience, usually if the client or the somebody creates a doubtful or any having doubts on that link or information post,
Mm-hmm.
it's better to stay away with that. But if you
Mm.
need more clarity with that, you yeah you consult with the financial advisor, and the financial advisor checks with that to the circle of financial advisors and
Mm.
also with the government and the other regulatories. So that will verify that this information or this post is verified, or that's when we call it legit or that's credible.
Yeah, so and but that's only like how you advise
Mhm.
people who reach out to you. But as an advocate, like, how do you, just in general, how do you minimize the spread of fake news around investing, or at least help the majority of the Filipino consumers steer clear of scams?
In the social media, I
Mm-hmm.
believe there are pages which they call them as verified pages. The one with the circle,
Mm-hmm.
blue circle with a white check mark. So that could be a sign that it's a verified page.
Mm-hmm.
There's also times when you follow or like those groups or pages, it will notify you that this community provides false information of that. And this could be create awareness to the readers or who wants to join to that group. That
Mm-hmm.
would create with that it creates awareness to the readers.
That's very helpful because I actually didn't really think about verified pages in the first place.
Mhm.
I, in general, would just steer clear on any financial advice that I get on Facebook. So that's in general, except for the people who I know who are really credible.
Mhm.
So we talked about earlier before we started recording about the sources that or the where I get my sources, and that's why I ask you for more referrals so that I can have
Yeah.
more. But yes, I think verified pages is really a good way to go. Like that's the hands down the easiest way to make sure that you are getting verified information or from qualified sources. And I ask this because it is a very widespread problem. I think that right now there are a lot of information that's out there, especially in Facebook, where a lot of majority of us Filipinos are tuned into all the time, right? And even in TikTok, TikTok is a new platform, but a lot there are a lot of financial advice that are out there, and it turns out that a lot of them are unverified, and the people who provide these advice are not even registered or certified financial planners, financial advisors, or consultants. And like, I guess what I wanted to ask is, how do you deal with these types of information? Like when you see it, do you flag this type of information if you think it's questionable, or like do you tell other people not to subscribe to this person or to this page or to this account?
I don't usually follow on
Yeah.
the TikTok, but I don't
Me too.
usually watch any like TikTok videos
Mm-hmm.
regarding those financial advice. But
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
in my case, if I saw that, usually some of the clients or the readers, the watchers
mm-mm,
or the viewers, they just ignore it and don't flag it. But
mm-mm,
some of those, if they saw those profile and they want to verify that name, that
mm-mm,
this profile is let's say a registered or a certified uh, professional. Yeah, I think it's
mm-mm.
better to check the website or who's the licensee for that
Yes.
before, let's say, you report it or make some any excessive actions, because we
Mm-mm,
don't know that, let's say, the profile is still building and
mm-mm.
it's ongoing on a verification, so we don't know yet. But I think it's best to consult with professionals or regulatories on that page if that is credible or not. Even though we know that social medias have those the easy verification pages, or is it easy verification page marks?
Yeah, that's cool. And so another question that popped into my mind as we were talking about this with regards to stock investing. So you're a full-time trader, right? And you've been doing this for 6 years. And I'm sure that there are a lot of your friends or just people that you know would come up to you, ask you a question regarding the stock market, but do you provide them an in-depth advice or a ready answer, or is it like, how do you manage that as a stock trader and a financial consultant when someone asks you off the bat, like, hey, what are you investing right now? I want to invest in that too.
Usually I tell them that there would be a disclaimer that there's a risk of capital loss with that.
Mm,
I usually tell them that please do at your own risk
mm,
and
mm,
do some research. I'll just
mm,
provide them what are the links to help them decide to buy for that. But
mm.
if you provide them that, oh, buy that, buy this, so uh, and the stock turned around, so you'll be blamed for that. So it's best to provide them the credible sources information to if it's best to invest with that.
Right. And because it's different, right? So I just want to make, because a lot of people think that if I just copy whatever it is that you're doing, I'm sure to make the same type of success as this other person, but it's not always the
Yes,
case.
that's correct.
So, and that's one of the reasons why I think some of the misconceptions around the your profession as a trader actually is that I don't need someone to help me. I can just copy what they do. How should a financial advocate place the value of a trader or a broker into a client or for a client?
It's best to show an analogy or a case study with that if he wants
Mm,
to try to copy those trades and
mm,
that's aligns with the financial goals, or if
mm,
that his client his preferences that he wants to copy trade so he can achieve that financial goal or anything. But it still needs to have you still need to know what's your risk profile, what's your
mm,
risk appetite, because it will determine what's your personality on regards to managing your risk. Some say some would they would just copy, but the risk is too high and they can't
mm.
bear those huge losses in regards to high rewards.
That's true because like for me I'm very risk adverse.
Mhm.
So and if you as a trader most likely have a very like big risk appetite, correct me if I'm wrong. So if I copy whatever it is that you do, and in case you incur a loss, for you that's okay because you have a big risk appetite, but for me who doesn't, it would be a very big blow,
Yes.
and I might not be able to recover. Or if I do recover, it won't be the same as like your trajectory because it's different from mine. So yeah, I really want that, and I think there's a lot of things that we can discuss more into stock trading and a lot more things to demystify in the financial advice section. So maybe we'll do another podcast for that. But for now, what is your advice, Franz, for financial advisors and anyone in the industry who wants to promote or to spread more credible information about investing?
Okay. It could be this advice could be not be applicable, or anyone is who wants to follow this one. But I think continuing education and more awareness in the financial market, because once you know though them, you're able to pinpoint what are those fake news, what's
Mm,
it's credible, what is right or not. Because especially we are in the information age, and there's a lot of information bouncing around. Or you
yes,
see
that's
them
true.
every day, so you need to be a good picker on what's a fake news or not. And
That's right.
also the government or other regulatories to keep check also on for those people who spread those fake
Yes.
news, because it might hurt the overall investors confidence. That would create let's say the risk averse to different financial instruments.
Oh, that's true. Especially, and what comes to mind is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This is something that's not regulated, and it's also new, especially in the ears of Filipinos. It's been around for a very long time, but I noticed that it has been a hype these days, and there are a lot of fake information that are out there. In particular, the one that was named after Squid Games, I remember.
Oh yes.
So
There's
yeah,
also news with
so
that.
yeah, and so I feel like your advice is really on point to always learn about what is currently happening in the world, because it's where you get the knowledge to become wiser at the type of information that you should consume. So before we formally end the show, Francis, where can people find you if they want to get to know you more or ask for your advice or your service?
Yep, I'm glad to share my contact to
Mm,
our listeners.
mhm.
An email that would be canizaresfrancis@gmail.com. So the email
Yep.
address will be provided on the description.
Mm.
So I repeat, that's canizaresfrancis@gmail.com. And for the phone number, that would be +63 918 363 8783. I'll repeat that one. That would be +63 918 363 8783.
All right. Thanks so much, Francis. Anything cool that you've been doing right now, or any future projects or programs that you'd like to share with the listeners?
Yeah, currently we're starting up a training company that provides
Right.
specialized training in regards to wealth management services and
That's
also
cool.
improving the portfolios. The target market would be on in the banking and the wealth management side, also
Hmm.
insurance. There will be more trainings to come as this would create more knowledge, add more knowledge to the specialist and create more value to their clients
Yeah.
and provide, yep, sustainable business service.
Nice. That sounds so cool. So if you guys listening out there want to know more about that, then you can go ahead and send Francis an email or give him a ring. So thank you so much, Francis, for being in the show today and talking about demystifying misconceptions about stock investing for financial advocates. So I hope that we can have a bit more conversation around even stock investing in the future. So, if you guys are into that, please let us know. But for now, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being in the show, Francis. Have a good one.
Thank you. Good day, everyone.